Chief of Defence Staff, Commander of the Army, distinguished dignitaries, good afternoon. In fact, today, as you are seeing the topic, soft power in the digital era, presented by Group D, first of all, we too are going to cover this subject. Myself, Brigadier General Mamun from Bangladesh Army, and Colonel Peter from UK Army will join with me. First of all, let me thank Sri Lankan Army for choosing a very pertinent topic, which is very important also. And last but not the least, thanks to them for their hospitality. Now let me go to the subject. This soft power. Why this age group and excluding communities are very important to us. First of all, let me take this opportunity. If you have heard the name of Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Google, who is more prominent, who is having more followers in this virtual world than that of any of the president even. So if he speaks or if he says something in your Viber or any of the media, that will be propagated much easier than that of anyone else. Now the question comes, who is the target group? There are two segments straight away. The new aged or new lords and the old lords, probably were not user-friendly to this smart gadget. Now, what ISS is doing, they are targeting these new lords, aging group from something 15 to 25, they are targeting these lords. They are trying to make these people hero, that come and join us, be the king of yourself. So age group is a very vital factor. Accordingly, the second thing is that the community whom you are targeting, that is also very important. Next, demography and gender. Whom you are targeting, that is very important. What is the age group, what is the sex group, and what you want to tell. These are all vital factors in this digital era to influence the soft power. Because as you know, soft power has few connections with your philosophy, ideology, your economy. But from our group, we like to add few of the things. Values, one of the most important things. Ethics, norms, culture and legal issues. Yesterday, the Saudi General Mohammed, he was telling that culture is totally different. The Saudi culture, or today morning we have learned that cultural conflict is going on between Korea, China, Japan. Who can dominate whom? That is very much valued. Now without the values, nobody is going to respond to you. Why this value is very much important? If you look at the model of Norway, a very small country, having only 2 million of people, but they believe in action than that of your propaganda, than that of your telling. That's why Norway almost has become a role model. They negotiate in resolving the issues or interstate conflict, and they are more reliable than many of the superpowers even. Only for one reason, because they give values to others, because they are faithful to others. These are very important issues. And there comes the reliability. How much reliable you are, what is the reliability of your information, it is also very much pertinent. How much knowledge you are having. So in this software age, you must, the government echelon or government machinery must look at that what is their reliability, credibility to others, their credibility to the non-actor state factors, their credibility to the people, their credibility to the other nations also. Otherwise, nobody is going to listen to your words. Even if they listen, they will not believe your words. So this reliability is a very much important thing. What we need to address right now. Next, I want to address another issue. For developing countries like us, we need to address soft power than of our hard power, because hard power relies more on economic capability, but soft power relies more on your knowledge, using your smart gadgets, using other subsidiary factors. So as I believe, the third world or developing countries should more focus on the soft power age at the modern era. I'll invite my next speaker to continue with this. Thank you.
Digital media brings lots of new challenges for us. It's bi-directional for a start. It's not just us talking to an audience. An audience can talk back to us. So we can get lots of very useful information, but it's interactive. And it's also pretty ubiquitous. We don't actually know who we're talking to. We might want to talk to somebody in a particular city, in a particular country, but in actual fact, the whole world can potentially look at what we're saying. So we need to be conscious of that. And the role of social media in particular, which is probably what we focused on more than anything else when we were talking, plays differently depending on the type of conflict you're involved in. Whether you're competing or whether you're involved in a conflict with a terrorist organisation or potentially a mutually beneficial interstate discussion, the way you want to use social media will change quite significantly. So there isn't one size fits all, there's a whole range of new skills. We came to the conclusion that in order to take advantage of the digital world and to react to the inevitable changes that it brings, we need to adapt. So at the heart of that, we should answer the question, what did we think we really need to do to adapt? We need to learn new skills, skills that traditionally we wouldn't have from a military perspective. So if you're dealing with digital media, the traditional skill, for example, of physical endurance for a soldier is probably not too important. But intellectual ability, cultural sensitivity, cultural awareness are probably very important skills for that individual to have. And it's no longer a matter of numbers. If you've got 10 times the number of social media operators compared to somebody on the other side of a conflict or somebody you're influencing, trying to influence, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll win out. It probably means you'll cause more confusion. What you want is people with the right ideas. And most importantly, we must ensure that what we say is consistent. In the digital world, what happens in theatre can be reported back to your home country within seconds. And what's more, what's happening in your home country can be reported where you're operating, again, within seconds. If those two things are not consistent, then those inconsistencies can be exploited, and you're unable to propagate your message and to influence somebody or influence the people you're wanting to influence. So consistency becomes very, very important. And not just consistency within the military, but consistency between the military and non-government organisations, government organisations, potentially industry as well. So we need to make sure we have a consistent message, and in today's world, where inevitably we're involved with allies, we need to align our message with our allies as well. And that needs new constructs, new channels of communication, new dialogues need to be opened up to make sure that not only can we talk, but we can talk at the pace we need to talk to be able to react effectively and to be able to exploit social media. And furthermore, we need to integrate our activity. So what we're saying on social media is consistent with maybe what we're doing in a hard power scenario as well. So we might have some operation going on the ground, and it's very important that what we're saying is consistent in social media. What we've observed, and this is quoted quite frequently, is at the moment, certainly Western countries tend to use digital media, social media, to explain and articulate what operations are going on the ground and what we're doing on the ground, to provide some justification, some explanation. What other people are doing, particularly if you look at terrorist organisations, they're doing it completely the opposite way around. They are designing their operations to send a message, not the other way around. And maybe we can learn some lessons in that area. There certainly needs to be integration between hard power and the digital media face of soft power. Ultimately, in the digital media space, it's the best idea that will win hearts and minds, not force of power. It's an intellectual exercise, and we need to keep that in mind when we look at it from a military perspective, because that's a very different way of thinking. Thank you. That concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Brigadier